All right, welcome to The Explainer. We're about to dive into an incredible story of leadership, where a complete and total disaster, we're talking a city in ashes and every single person gone, somehow becomes the setup for a stunning comeback. This is a crisis that pushed a leader to his absolute breaking point.
So the whole story really hangs on this one question. What do you do when you come home and found it's all gone? And this isn't some thought experiment. This is the exact brutal reality facing a leader named David and his 600 men.
Okay, so our story kicks off with this absolutely devastating discovery. David and his men, they've been away on a campaign and they're heading back to their home base, a city called Ziklag. You can just imagine, they're expecting a warm welcome, right? But what they walk into is a nightmare, a scene of absolute horror. Their entire city has been attacked by a raiding party, the Amalekites, and just burned to the ground. Everything they had built is now literally just smoke and ash.
And maybe the most shocking part is this number, 0. That's how many people the raiders left behind. Now, they didn't kill anyone. Instead, they took every single person captive. Wives, sons, daughters, they were all just gone. The emotional fallout from this was catastrophic. The source material is so direct about it. It says they wept till they physically had no strength left to weep. I mean, this is a picture of complete and utter despair. Morale has just hit rock bottom.
And this, right here, is a major turning point, because in this moment of pure crisis, David wasn't just up against some outside enemy. Suddenly, the biggest threat he faced was coming from his own men.
His own crew, completely shattered by grief, just turned on him. They blamed David for the whole disaster, and they were so bitter, so angry, they were actually talking about stoning him right then and there. For a leader, it does not get any worse than this.
But instead of caving or panicking or lashing out, David does something else entirely. While his men are completely falling apart, he turns inward to his faith. The text says he found strength, which suggests this was a conscious choice, an effort to find solid ground while the world was crumbling around him.
So with that renewed strength, he doesn't just charge off recklessly. He actually stops and seeks clear guidance, asking two very direct, very strategic questions. 1, should I even go after them? And 2, if I do, will I actually catch them?
And the answer he gets is totally clear. No ambiguity. Pursue them. You will overtake them. You will succeed. Well, that was the divine green light he needed. The mission was on. David rallied his 600 men, and they took off immediately.
Now, this pursuit was absolutely grueling. Before long, 200 of David's men were so exhausted they just couldn't continue. It looked like the whole mission might be failing, but then a chance encounter out in the wilderness changed everything. So here's how the tide turns. They find an Egyptian slave, just left for dead by his Amalekite master. And David's men, they give him food and water, basically saving his life. And this one simple act of mercy turns out to be the key to the whole operation. The guy they saved knows exactly where the raiders are camped out. In exchange for a promise of safety, he agrees to lead them straight to the enemy.
So, guided by this unlikely ally, David's remaining 400 men close in on the Amalekite camp. And when they find them, it's a scene of complete and total carelessness.
These guys were in full-on party mode. They thought they'd gotten away clean, so they were celebrating, totally oblivious to the fact that a highly motivated rescue force was about to descend on them.
David launches his attack at dusk, and this wasn't a quick fight. It raged all through the night and into the next day. By the time it was over, the Amalekite force was just annihilated. Only about 400 of them managed to escape on camels.
And the result? It was a stunning, total reversal of fortune. David recovered everything that had been taken. Every single person, young and old, plus all the stolen goods. The text goes out of its way to emphasize this. Absolutely nothing was missing. But the story doesn't stop there, because victory created a brand new problem. Now that they had all this plunder back, who actually deserved to get a share? So a few of the fighters, the troublemakers, they argued that the 200 men who had stayed behind, the ones who were too exhausted, should get nothing but their families back. That's it. But David completely disagreed. He framed the victory not as something they earned, but as a gift, arguing that because it was a gift, the rewards had to be shared by the entire community. And this is a huge deal. David establishes a new law right then and there. He declares that the soldiers guarding the supplies are just as vital as the soldiers on the front lines.
Now, this wasn't just about being fair. It was about defining the whole group as a unified team where every single role has value. And David's vision went even further than that. He didn't just share the plunder among his own men. He took a portion of it and sent it as gifts to his allies, the elders of Judah. This was a brilliant political move. He was using the spoils of this victory to strengthen his relationships and build a foundation of support for his future.
Which kind of brings us to our final thought. This story really suggests that just recovering what you lost is only half the battle. A true victory, and maybe true leadership, is ultimately defined by what you do with it, how you share it, the principles you establish with it, and the future you build from it. It makes you think, maybe what you give is a lot more powerful than what you take.